and other stories too are gone entirely. And those people who once loved in some other way, they're gone forever too. Their lives, their loves, their sensibilities. We'll never see anything that remotely resembles them again. How people used to love, the ways for which we now have complete contempt. We think that because the past is no longer who we are, that the age that came before us is stupid, and that the way we are now, or the way it is we wish to be, is the true way and the good way, even if in fact we are tormented every hour of our lives. But who's to say the past is not having pleasures as deep as those the future is going to hold? Or deeper, or perhaps simply different. The aging gay man who had to keep his life a secret and found bruises and manners to hide himself, and find another who would share his inner world. We don't know how it is to live like this today. That sense of nuance and subtlety, the decor of a home that would suggest, but not declare, the inner life of its host. That finely developed ability to discriminate the gentlest hint. All this is gone. You know, it would be wrong to mourn its loss and the suffering that's often comes with it. And yet, I still have friends who are lost because it's lost. Their lives, the lives they thought they lived, all their lives, vanished suddenly with nowhere to go. Just as all of us will one day be gone. Our lives unrecoverable. The civilizations of the past, so distant from us as to be more alien than foreign countries. Human beings we recognize are in some way related to us, and yet so different we cannot know their inner lives. The only lives that matter, their private lives. The lives they thought they lived are gone forever. And even as we live today, from day to day, each day is lost as we live it, never to return. We shed our lives as we live them. We die each day. Our lives becoming first stories and then barely remembered dreams, the fleeting stuff of mortality. So that even as we live, we disappear. And all that we have treasured most disappears along with us.
You know, maybe everybody does have a past. And you know, it's like they say, when you go to bed with someone, you bring 6 people to bed with you. Each other and the other person's parents and your own parents. Well, or maybe even more than that, because...
Are you trying to start a conversation with me?
Yes.
You should probably think of saying something else.
Right. I was only just saying, it's like, you know, you were saying that you have this family and this past you can't escape, and I was just
right,
saying...
and I was saying maybe you want to talk about something else.
What I was saying is that other people are not just your past, they are also your future.
Oh, you mean you're planning on having an affair with someone I know?
No. No. I mean, what we are is part of humanity. I mean, part of humanity. We just have to accept that. We can't separate ourselves from that, from one another, so that all of us, all the time, you know,
What?
are part of humanity. You can't escape that. I'm a person too, you know. You feel that you grew up with certain difficulties in your upbringing. Well, so did I. So did everyone, I suppose. And this is our chance to love one another because of our backgrounds, to console one another and to feel close because of the pain that we felt, to feel into it, and to know even better how to take care of each other because we know how important that is and how it feels and just where another person needs support. Being fucked up, you know, might be a basis for love.
You're an American.
Yes?
I don't think I could like an American or love an American or really even have fun with an American.
Aren't you an American?
I'm half Italian.
So you can't love someone who is all American?
I don't think so.
That's crazy.
Why?
Because Americans are just Americans.
So?
Well, they're just Americans.
So?
Well, what is that?
Well, I don't know.
So you see?
No, I don't see anything.
You see, you could come to love me. I'm crazy about you, Tessa. You know, if somebody's crazy about you, you can't resist it finally because it feels so good to have someone crazy about you. And just love everything that you do and everything about you and just be delighted in you and laugh at your jokes and love to do things with you and look out for you and all that sort of thing, I think that I am going to become irresistible to you. I'm really pretty sure of it. Think how I found my way to you, which in a way you have to believe is the most important thing in life. So you have to believe that I know how to do the most important things. To have enough of a sense of adventure to throw myself into the world and see what happens to come up successful. This could not be such a bad partner for someone.
But what if you're not fun or funny or something?
I might not tell jokes, but I might just be ridiculous, which in time, once you've got to know me, could be constantly amusing to you. Plus, I think that you're in a situation where anything could happen.
I guess that's true.
What else do you want in life?
What do you mean?
To live a life where anything could happen? And then of all the anythings, to choose the one you like?
I guess.
Well then.
There's just a whole lot to fight your way through these days. How men are, for that matter, how women have become, all this stuff. You know what I mean. You watch television. I'm doing a 12-step program. I'm trying to work it through, but simple love, even if you're an okay guy, I don't think you can get there from here anymore. I was just wondering a little while ago how it would be if we were sleeping together, and I imagined we had to sleep on a giant mattress on the floor, and you were chilly, and the cat was giving birth to 8 kittens in the room, and it made you cranky. So I went out to buy you some red thermal underwear, and I came back with the wrong thing, but by then you weren't cold anymore, but you needed a travel toiletry bag. So I went back to the store for groceries, and the store was an Arabian camel tent with pyramids of canned foods and regular checkout grocery scanners, and I bought 10 dozen yellow and red roses, and a bunch of 6-foot-high gladiolas, and a silver mesh Gucci toiletry bag for $10,000. And when I got home, you were asleep, wearing a red thermal underwear that was too small for you, and a pair of red gloves with each finger labeled with random words on colored tapes, and you were wearing my black Ray-Ban sunglasses that you had already stretched out and ruined with your giant head. I crawled on top of you and started kissing you, and you opened your eyes and yelled, "How the fuck am I supposed to pay for a $10,000 toiletry bag?" And you climbed up on the scaffolding at the foot of the bed and started throwing the yellow and red roses at me, thorns first, and there were thorns stuck all over my arms and legs and chest, and the roses were hanging off me, and I was rolling around the mattress trying to get them off, and you told me you knew a guy named Todd who had done the same thing to his girlfriend and killed her with batteries, and then you smashed a tape recorder under your boot and took out the batteries and threw them at my head, and you climbed higher and higher up the scaffolding, saying that the higher you went, the more the batteries would hurt, and that even a penny could break my skull from way up there. That's what I see when I fantasize about our being together!
Find yourself some.
Maria! Time flies.
How long of your family won't speak to you, and every woman you've ever been with has gone crazy or killed herself. Did you ever think about that? It's not them, it's you. You're like a baby with a switchblade, so fucking needy. And when you get everything just the way you want it, you attack whoever gives in to you for being weak and pathetic and worthless.
Okay. This is how it is. We are screwed. Forget everything I ever said to make up. The truth is, Frank is a better person than I am anyway. I've never been a good person, really an acceptable person. I am actually a person of despicable character. You should go back to Frank. What more could you want? He's a wonderful person, loving and kind and generous and considerate. What could you have been thinking? Not just to be grateful for that.
Probably you're just saying that, but I think it's true.
It is true. In fact, all you've ever done is string me along under some sense of discontent you never could define. You've never loved me if you think about it. Your heart has always been with Frank.
What he says is true, Frank. I do love you. I'm sorry for all I've done to hurt you. I don't know why I ran away from you. I think I never felt you wanted me. But I want you, Frank. Let's never leave one another's side again.
It's too late, Maria.
Too late!
I'm sorry. I would never do anything to hurt you because I do love you. But now, you see, without you, I turned more and more to Edmund for solace and companionship and finally love. And now I couldn't betray him. After all he's done for me, his being there for me, his loyalty, he's completely won me over. And I think I never can find my way back to you.
Don't say that, Frank. Truth is, you never left her. I've always felt you left half yourself behind, and you could never let go completely and be with me the way I need someone to be for my sake. Go back to her. She's your family. You'll never be happy without her.
Well, these days it is such a strange and difficult terrain. So often we don't know where we are or whether we're in the right place at all. We can't find a place that feels like home. Our hearts are lost. And I have to admit, the place that feels like home to me is with you, Maria.
Oh, Frank, I'm so happy to feel we can start out again in life together and have a whole second life. One doesn't just throw away a marriage on a whim for some fleeting romance or sudden passion. All those years, the chance of having an entire lifetime together, that's the truest treasure of all.
Shall we have a drink? Or shall we have some tea? Is this tea, Tessa?
I don't think it's hot.
Maria spills it down in front of Francois's trousers.
Oh, yes! It is hot!
Francois, I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, you're not.
Here, give me your trousers. You don't want to have a stain.
She unbuckles his belt and starts to take off his trousers.
Mother.
Excuse me, please. I don't think I'll be taking off my trousers.
Mother. I'm only thinking what's practical.
Let's all take off our trousers this so we won't feel embarrassed.
Frank, you're the perfect host, but I don't think that we have.
As Maria helps to remove Francois. Meanwhile, Gunther and Natalie enter. They stand, their clothes disheveled, obviously having been in bed together.
I don't think this is necessary. A little tea cannot hurt.
Natalie, where have you been? And who is this?
This is Gunther. Hello, Gunther.
Hello, Gunther.
How do you do?
Is this your idea of getting even with me?
I don't know what you mean.
Oh, yes, you do.
I'm not taking off my trousers.
Ah, taking off your trousers. Right, good idea. Ah, I have an idea. All the men take off their trousers and I will make a sculpture of all of you. I've always thought, what would it be to do a whole set of modern torsos?
Is this what people do here? Everyone takes off his trousers?
I'm not taking off my trousers, I can tell you that.
I'm taking off my trousers.
With your trousers, Gunther.
No, I don't remove my trousers.
Cool, Gunther. What's the difference? You could be wearing a swimming suit. Lift your foot, Gunther.
I don't know if this is right.
Come along, James. Easy, James.
Yes.
Don't be shy. We're among friends here. Let me help you get your pants off.
I don't think so. I'm not a stripper.
Of course you're not. Taking off your trousers doesn't make you a stripper, or all men would be strippers.
How can I have a relationship with a man when my mother takes off everyone's pants who come into the house?
Maria starts to take off James's trousers.
Now, if you will all lie down, come, lie down here in a row, not on your backs. Ah, not on your fronts, not too close together.
Come, Francois.
You never think that I may have feelings too. Just because it seems to you that I am indifferent or cold or interested only in conquests. But I am a vulnerable person too in my own way. I want just as much as you to have a deep and meaningful relationship. But it may be that in my own way I don't know any better than you in your way just how to go about achieving it.
That's good. I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to make plaster casts of your torsos. 5 male torsos, I will call them. Here, Francois, I'll take you first.
Mimi starts to mix water and plaster of Paris in a bucket. Francois lies down in Natalie's lap, and Mimi begins to cover him with the plaster. The men recline. The women are arranged around them as though at a picnic.
I love art. And artists, people who make things in general, creative people. There are people who make things and the other sort, and my feeling is, I love a person who makes something. Because art is where we discover, in the freedom of our imaginations, what it is to be a human being.
Or else we discover it in love. Because human beings are social animals, not isolated imaginations, and so we discover truly who we are in our relationships. That's where we can see the full complexity and wonder of a person, where we see the mystery of what it is to be a human being.
Of course, you're talking here not just about sensual love, what the Greeks called erotique, but also about love as friendship, which they call philia. Because the Greeks thought love is not just a sentiment, but is actually the physical principle of the universe itself, the very stuff that binds the universe together, and without it, the whole world just falls apart.
This is fine for you to say, but it's not so clear you can know what it is to love, and so what it is to be a human being, unless you live the life of a bourgeois person in a bourgeois country. Because under Stalin, the Russians only made love an average of 1.2 times a month. The same is true in Bulgaria, as I happen to know. And then not very happily, and mostly in the doggy position. This is a statistic, this is a fact. And some people in prisons, they forget entirely how to reach out to another human being, to touch another person in any way that isn't cruel. How do you think it is for the street hookers who live in the alleys of Istanbul or Havana?
You look around the world and you think, should there be love in a world like this? Or should there be only politics?
This is true. I think this is true.
Still, we carry on.
We shouldn't.
No matter what, you can't stop living.
And yet, it can seem strange to live in a world where just to get a lipstick, you have to choose between red, or hot red, or classic red, or real red, or radiant red, or Russian red, reggae red, love that red, uptown red, drop dead red, red, crimson splendor, Galay number 102 Rouge, Bolero Kiss Kiss Hydrosoft, Galay number 103 Rouge Satin Tango Kiss Kiss Hydrosoft, Galay number 104 Rouge Passion Kiss Kiss Hydrosoft, cherry, crushed cherry, very, very cherry, cherry's jubilee, hard candy trap.
The world can be so confusing. What are the rules? What is allowed? What is not allowed? And we live in constant anguish. You have to reinvent your relationship every day. Discover all over every day what it might be, what a woman wants, and what you yourself might want.
And then sometimes you might live apart from your wife or lover, and so you have love affairs, or you even agree to have love affairs, even while at the same time, in your own way, you remain faithful to one another in your love for one another, whatever you might be doing physically, and yet, no matter how you sort it out, even at the moment you're going to bed with another person, it makes you feel even more alone and betrayed.
And then when you say, for example, do you love me? And then she replies, I don't know you. Because in fact, she never will. She never will.
Why not?
Because I rediscover who I am every day. A moving target, you can't hit it. How can you love at all these days? These days, it's not easy for a man and a woman to
It
fall.
never was.
One needs courage.
Human beings.
It turns out life is nothing but loose ends. It's not that just because one has many love affairs or love affairs with people one shouldn't, that makes you a person incapable of love, or a person who has no feelings. I myself, I pray for a better world. A world where there will be no such thing as unrequited love and pain and suffering, and women can return the love of any man. Where people live in peace, where the whole world will be like Tuscany. The evening sunset on the vines and olive trees, a golden glow. Roses growing up the sides of farmhouses, a glass of wine in the lingering twilight, grandchildren playing down by the arbor, reading by the pool, the circus performers from the village coming out to the house for lunch, entertaining the children with their clowning and juggling, the family in the kitchen making dinner together, the children picking fresh vegetables, the neighboring farmer holding forth, reciting Dante by heart, stanza after stanza, and bursting into song, arias from Verdi. The mother sitting at the hearth, giving a breast to her baby, fresh herbs, the fennel and the basil, the roasted garlic and the fish stew. Oh, we'll have our own wine from the vines nearby the house, our own olive oil from the trees on the nearby hillside. We will laugh and cry and tell stories. We will have love affairs, and no one will be hurt. Aunts and uncles will gather every Sunday to take care of the children, while we have a nap in the upstairs bedroom. Oh, Tuscany. Tuscany, how I long for you and love you.
In the olden days, you were married for life, that was it. And then you had your love affairs. But nowadays these love affairs can cause nothing but pain or death, and it seems you should not have them.
Or you might say, this wonderful married love. This is not for me. What I long for is a moment, and nothing more. An intense moment. A moment even of pain, or especially of pain. Never mind the falling in love, consummation, the lifelong pleasure. Let us cut right to the end of it. The searing pain that lets us know we did once long and love. We are alive. And this awful pain proves it over and over again.
This is not my idea of love.
Or it may be rather than feeling the pain ourselves, we like to inflict it on others, to enable them to feel what we ourselves cannot. And this can be a form of generosity, giving the sensation of life to another life at its most intense and intimate.
Oh, Gunther, really?
Sometimes you might like to say to someone, hey, go ahead, do your worst. Stick it in me, up my ass, piss on me. Double up your belt, make it sting. Make me lie still, make me whimper, make me beg. Because I like to feel some leather up between my legs from time to time. With a little silk, a knee up in my crotch, nails down my side, bone against my clit, a little bit of rubbing, the old double dildo, and you've got to like an animal from time to time. Or you might say to your partner, make it hurt, spank me, pinch me, give me an enema, bite me, burn me. But watch out for the joints, the nerves, watch out for the blood vessels, you know. I'm taking this for granted. This will be safe. Think about the front of the thigh, the shoulder, the upper arm. Use a little soap and water, alcohol, betadine. Keep it perpendicular to the skin. Make a gentle cut. Wait a minute before the blood begins to flow. And then another cut or prick, like lightning going through the body. And when it's done, rub it with wine. Stain it. Leave a mark there, because these marks are here for life. These are commitments being made. We're never going back.
Never.
And what do you need in life finally but some Band-Aids, smelling salts, sterile cotton,
Bandage scissors,
Vault coater,
aspirin,
spare keys,
a marlin spike,
ice pack,
hydrogen peroxide,
rectal thermometer,
KY jelly.
tweezer.
And then you can feel free to say to your mate, you could tie me down so I can't jump when you cut me, you know. Do it slow, then work me over. This is what I like. And tell me bedtime stories.
You can powder me, you can oil me, you can dress me up, you can take me out.
There! I'm done. I call these plaster casts of torsos my erection series, because no matter what a man does when he feels the heavy blow of the plaster on his torso, he can't help keep himself from getting an erection. Don't ask me why.
Dear God, did you hear these women singing together?
Oh, thank you, Gunther.
But no, could you hear yourself? I am speaking of you and your daughter.
I was only singing, I wasn't listening.
The two of you, mother and daughter, your voices flowing in and out of one another. Like quicksilver, like a mountain brook, like satin sheets.
Gunther, really?
Like the spring breeze in the branches, Like the silk camisole beneath the summer dress. Like the summer light falling on the pillow in the late afternoon. And the ocean waves are quiet as the tide goes out once more.
Gunther.
My mother sang to me every night when she put me to bed. And sometimes my grandmother would join her. The two of them singing to me their duets and solos from the operas we had attended all together. And I have often thought, one never knows what one seeks in life. Why this man loves a woman with fair hair, or this woman needs a man who seems substantial, while that woman needs a man who is tender or even weak. A man may love a woman, or a man may love a man, but why will he love this woman or that man? These things that make us long for another human being or need another, that make us unable to sleep or make us tremble, make us perspire with a passion we don't understand. It is so specific and so sickening and so potent it frightens us. We run from it. We choose instead some more peaceful seeming love, some love we can bear from day to day, even though eventually it may come to bore us. And we forget what it is that makes our knees buckle, until by accident we come across it again in the most unexpected place, as I have just done this moment with you, Maria, and with you, Tessa. Hearing the two of you sing, I recognize I love you. I love the two of you together singing, and I need you. I want you. I need to marry you. Please, Maria, please, I beg you. I can't help myself. I can only plead that I can't help myself, or else I would. I only thank God in this moment that the passion I can't resist is this one instead of as it could have been, who knows? We seem to have no control of these things, a passion to whip someone or to shoot them. I beg you, Maria. I beg you, Tessa.
Gunther!
Come with me, sing to me, I'll take care of you as you've never been cared for before.
Gunther.
What do you say, Tessa? I pray to God I'll give you anything you want.
This is too bizarre.
This is the moments love two women all the time, or three or four.
Because of the way they sing?
Perhaps I don't know. And why not?
It's insane.
I don't say it's not insane. I apologize for it, but I can't control the way I feel.
You should!
I can't, I won't, I love you, Maria!
You are a creep, Gunther! No one likes this sort of weird, kinky kind of thing. I am a normal person, Gunther, with normal sorts of normal feelings.
What I feel feels normal to me.
I've never heard of such a thing.
This happens all the time. Someone becomes transported by another person. This is what is called love.
This is sick! Sick!
You think you can just come in and take another man's love right from under his nose and that this is an acceptable thing to do?
I tell you, I can't be blamed.
Who would you ever blame then, if not yourself? Would you blame a man who likes to be tickled with feathers?
No. No, I wouldn't.
That is a bad example. Would you blame...
Blame anyone for love. You can weep for them, but you can't blame them. I could be so happy with the two of you, so filled with joy it would overflow and fill your whole world so that finally you would be happy too. I know it. Just as my mother and my grandmother were taking care of me when I was a little boy, chastising me when I had done wrong, spanking me if I needed it, and sometimes I must admit I did need it. And we could be just this happy together if you would just give me a chance. I beg you, Maria. I beg you.
Here, Gunther. Come with me.
I love her. I'm afraid I can't get over it.
Many people have had to get over it, Gunther. She's a wonderful woman with a big heart, but she can't love everyone.
I wish I could love you, Gunther. I would if I could. But it is the nature of women. They are able to love only one man. Or two, or so. But there comes a limit. Or not.
Bertha, an elderly woman, enters.
I'm terribly sorry. We've been having a party next door, and suddenly I looked around and my little boy was gone. I suppose he just ran out. Have you seen my son?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Let's look for him.
Could he have come in through the kitchen?
Or you might have come in through the terrace.
Oh, how unsettling. I remember I lost Tessa when she was a tiny little thing, and we didn't find her for hours. Do you remember, Frank? She was down by the ocean playing in the surf, and just as I spotted her, she tipped upside down in the water like a little cork. And of course she couldn't swim, and so she couldn't get herself right side up. And I got to her just in time, and I thought, thank God, if we'd found her a moment later, it would have been too late.
I'm sure he's fine. Children these days are such tough little creatures.
We should branch out so we cover all directions.
How old is your little boy?
He will be 43 on his next birthday. Gunter, whatever are you doing here? I was very sick. Where have you been?
I don't know. I was taken outdoors by someone. I don't see her.
Hilda, an even more elderly woman, enters.
Have you found him, Bertha?
It seems he has been here all the time.
What have you been doing, Gunter?
I'm sorry.
And this must be your grandmother.
I beg your pardon.
Would you be Gunter's grandmother he was talking so much about?
Not at all. I'm his mother's lover. We've been together 57 years this September and never had an unhappy day.
Oh, well, I'm so glad to hear it.
Relationships can be so complicated these days.
Relationships have always been complicated. Why is it that people these days think they have invented complications? Bertha and I had a hell of a time getting together. It was never easy. All the people who thought they had a corner on the true way of living on Earth, and they ought to bury anyone else who had a hold of a different stick.
Hilda?
Well, but we did it. Because what the hell is the point of life if it's not to live it?
Yes, well, no doubt.
What?
I say no doubt.
Ah, what the hell? You think I'm hard of hearing? It's a timid age we live in.
Hilda?
The landscape of love has always been a rocky one, filled with swamps and pitfalls and brambles and sticky bushes and slippery slopes and precipices, and what the hell has ever been the point except to slash your way through to the underbrush to score? Of course, I'm not a Visigoth. No, sometimes, let's face it, shit happens. And with your very best effort, I try to be very, very careful, but you can't hold back just because there's no such thing as life insurance. Sometimes you don't find someone, sometimes you hurt someone, sometimes it just doesn't last.
Hilda?
Sometimes love has the lifespan of a butterfly, so does life itself, but we make the best of it because time is running out. Time is running out. This is the only shot you've got.
Hilda?
You gotta set the course and damn the torpedoes. What do they mean? You can pursue happiness, but you can never find it. Why did they tell you such a thing? Just to keep you from doing it? Huh? Bertha and me, we found happiness. We are happy people, and I recommend it.
Hilda sometimes gets a little carried away.
On a rant.
But she's really a very nice person.
Will you stay for tea?
No, no thank you. It's nap time for me and Bertha, and for you too, Gunter.
I was having a little nap.
You're gonna be much more comfortable in your own bed. Come along, Gunter.
Thank you so much for looking after Gunter.
Not at all.
Come, Gunter.
Goodbye.
Nice chatting. You'll have to come and visit us sometime if you like to get naked in a hot tub. Bertha likes things a little kinky, but I'm always telling her not with the guests, Bertha, not with the guests. People don't like things out of the ordinary. Well, they're young. Once you get to be my age, you'd like to make sure you haven't missed anything. Do come and visit us. You're lovely people, and don't forget, for us, it's open house every day.
Barbara enters carrying the pizza box.
Have you decided about lunch? The pizza's getting cold.
Oh, Barbara, we forgot all about it. Come, people, what would we like?
Do you have any peanut butter?
Salmon would be nice.
Just some raspberries for me.
Bob, the pizza guy, enters.
Raspberries?
Some pale yellow raspberries.
It's the same place.
Oh, it's the pizza man.
Did you phone for another pizza?
We didn't phone.
I'm terribly sorry there's been some confusion.
You know, pizza's not returnable.
I don't think anyone here is going to pay for a pizza we didn't order.
I'm not taking this pizza back to the pizza parlor. Who's going to pay for the pizza?
What is this, some form of extortion?
I'll pay for the pizza. Here.
Last time, if I'm not mistaken, you gave me a good tip as well.
Here's a tip.
What's happened? You lost your job since we lost one another?
Okay. Here.
Ricky Lake enters from the back of the audience.
Okay, I think I'm losing the thread here. I was on board, we were going along nicely, and suddenly I think I'm losing the thread.
What?
Maria and Frank were getting back together. Everything seemed to be working out well between them. I think that we had their relationship clearly in our minds, and then somehow it all went off track. In fact, well, to tell the truth, I've never been quite clear about Francois and Maria, and in a way, Maria and Frank.
I don't know what happened!
Do you worry about this dependency that you have on men? You go from one to another, and have you really lost yourself in the meantime? Really? I mean, a woman should have her own life. She should be an autonomous person, not someone who derives her whole being from a man.
Well, I think men too often derive their whole beings from women.
Should they?
No.
No, I don't think so.
And then you do this, you establish your own life, and the next thing that happens is someone comes along and calls you a bitch for having your own life. Am I right?
That is so true.
You have a career, and you suddenly are not a real woman anymore after all these years. And after Barbara and Oprah and everyone else, there is still this prejudice. Am I right?
Well, maybe it's not quite as bad as it used to be.
Oh, until sometimes you think, well, maybe I'm right, but maybe I've been a little selfish too, always having to think about myself, setting my own agenda. When part of human life, after all, is responding to the needs and the agendas of other people, sometimes even when it's not so convenient for you, you have to say, right? That's what it is to be a human being, to be interdependent, to have to sacrifice your own selfish wishes sometimes for others, for humanity. Not always thinking me, even sometimes us, all of us. And I think myself, sometimes I've set myself apart and isolated myself and even been a little selfish and have made it impossible for me to love because love is not selfish and I have been selfish and I'll be selfish all my life and now look at me. I've become a miserable person, miserable and alone. Oh, yes, famous, but still alone and lonely. So sometimes I wish I didn't have a life at all. I wish I had no life at all because I've made a desperate mistake. I've been wrong. And I hope none of you make the same mistake that I did because if you do, you'll probably just end up like me, famous and wretched. Oh, please. Down! I don't want your fucking sympathy. You know what I say? I say, go ahead. You take the stage now. Go ahead. Take it. You be famous for now. Because I've had my 15 minutes and I'm out of here.
An Iraqi woman terrorist in a camouflage outfit in Burnoose is entered during all this and stands there for a moment with a submachine gun.
Excuse me, is this the Reynolds household? Reynolds? No. Do you know the Reynolds flat?
Reynolds, I don't think I do.
Are they the house down the beach toward the Vineyard Haven?
The Grey House?
No, the Yellow House.
I don't think so. I think they're in the Grey House, so you know, the whitish house with the light brown
Or
trim.
beige.
Beige, whatever you call it, sort of.
I would call that tan.
Tan, it's tan. What would you call
I
it?
don't think it's tan anyway. I think it's all white.
In any case, it's what, 4 or 5 houses
No,
down?
3 or 4.
I think it's 4.
Are you talking about the Reynolds house?
Yes.
That's 6 houses down.
I don't think so, dear.
I think I know where the Reynolds live, Mother.
Not 6 houses
The
down.
Reynolds with the kids, Sylvia and Julie?
No, dear, that's the Davenport.
Oh.
They're gonna be either 3 or 4.
5.
Or 5 houses down. White lady with a little tan trim.
Right. Thank you. Sorry to barge in. I seem to have left my pair of sunglasses somewhere. Have you seen a pair of aviator sunglasses?
No.
Damn, these were vintage sunglasses. You can't just get them anywhere. You've heard of Amelia Earhart?
Yes.
Yes?
She was an aviator.
Yes.
Well, don't forget the women who came before you, sister. That's all I'm saying. I like you.
I like you too.
I really like you.
I really like you too.
How old are you, dear? 32? Ah, so am I! If I did more of those Botox injections, I'd be 29! Don't forget to come over sometime. We'll have a little visit. Just the two of us.
Do you think she made that up about the sunglasses just to get to...
This is enough. I, for one, I have to get back to work. Maybe no one else has to work, but I have to work, and work is good. This is another way to spend your life.
Work. What are you working on, Tessa?
I'm doing a translation for James.
A translation.
About love and women.
Love, of course. Love. Well, we know.
What do you know?
What is it to that? It's not as though none of us has ever worked.
Or love.
Love? All of us have worked, and maybe we can work with you. Let me see.
Oh, please don't get mixed up in this and make everything all topsy-turvy.
Well, I don't think anyone would make it topsy-turvy.
What is it?
It's for a book. It has some photographs and some text.
Right. I think we can help with this. I think, you know, what you have here is good, but it doesn't quite go far enough.
Far enough?
Well, I think love is more intense, clearly, than what you have here.
I don't think that you ought to get
You know,
involved.
tragedies and people fighting, slamming car doors, driving off and leaving a woman by the side of the road in the middle of the night. At least this is what I hear. Probably I can help you. Let me have a pen.
Pardon my saying so, but I don't think any of you knows anything about love. And now you're going to write a book.
You're not going to write anything, or even change what has been written. But, well, for instance, with this photograph here, a slender, lovely, graceful girl just budding into supple line? Who would say such a thing? It would be pretentious. Of course, I am not a writer, but still, nonetheless.
Who could speak of love if not you?
That is very kind of you to say. Not that I know so much, but perhaps I can help a little bit. Now, this is just a suggestion, but you might try, for example, here.
She reads it and passes it to Frank, who passes it to Edmund, who passes it to James, while Francois continues.
Everyone seems to be an expert.
And then, too,
He begins to edit another bit of paper.
you might say, just as an example.
What is this?
What is what?
In copulating, one discovers that. What is that?
That's what Roberto wrote.
Or Francesco.
Or Francesco.
I know that, but what is that?
God. That is what I have translated from his Italian.
Okay, I thought it was already in English and you were translating into Italian.
Oh.
So now you're translating from English to English, okay? But the that you have in that, what is that?
That is what he says. It's his idea. It's his sentiment. I mean, what do you mean, what is that? I'm not going to change it.
Look here at the phrase, in copulating, one discovers that. What is the that one discovers?
Oh, that. Well, I don't know.
You don't know? You're translating this, whatever you're doing to it, and you don't know what it means?
It's a mystery. It is an unknown. It is the great, wonderful, unknowable, deep knowledge one discovers that is different for everyone else. Possibly, I don't know. I'm just trying to bring a little depth and sophistication and complexity to the text because, let's face it, our young friend James here is, after all, an American, and it may not be that he doesn't know a great deal about love.
Who doesn't know anything about love?
I don't say he doesn't know anything about it, but possibly just not so much in the details, in the subtleties.
Are you crazy? You know nothing about love, nothing. I have never known a man who had so much tenderness as James, so much caring, a man so solicitous, who had so much regard for another person and so much respect and loyalty and steadfastness and dependability and sweetness. Someone you could count on when you were feeling vulnerable to take care of you, even when maybe you yourself are not so friendly, in a bad mood, to have the strength and goodness not to be put off by that, but to stay right with you till you could accept his caring and his kindness and his carefulness and his thoughtfulness and his gentleness and his honor.
That's lovely, Tessa. And yet, to be fair, it's not as though Francois knows nothing about love. In fact, he knows a great deal about love. About passion and excitement. About what it is to thrill to life and to be thrilling to a woman. To make a woman laugh. To make her quiver and cry with happiness. To make her weep with sorrow that her life will never end. To hold a moment in her heart as though it were forever, and you would never let it go. And you long for it and pine for it to return. You carry it with you in your heart your entire life. You cherish it. You never forget it. Because it was the moment that made your entire life worth living.
Indeed. I think I know something about love myself, about patience and forbearance and generosity, about wishing for happiness for another person, Maria. Whatever might bring that to her, wishing that for her, even if it means not having such happiness oneself, but taking real joy in the happy life of another.
Maria. Francois.
Will you go away with me?
Live with you, do you mean?
Yes.
How can anyone do that when you see how hard and painful it is?
Not for everyone, it seems to me.
For everyone, yes, for everyone.
And yet at the same time, maybe love is something that will grow. These things you never can tell. Not every love begins like in the movies where a person is swept off her feet. Sometimes it grows and deepens over the years. You grow old together until in old age you are so close, so intimate. You are like the home that you live in, indivisible and so deeply happy in the place you live that you can't even understand it. Maybe this is not your only choice, but this could still be one of your options, Tessa. How about just going out to dinner with me? There's no food in the house, right? There's food in the house, but you don't feel like cooking, am I right? You throw on a little something, we go to Tre Scalini, what's to lose? How many times have you eaten at Tre Scalini?
My parents took me there when I was a kid.
Now you go back as a grown-up. Tessa, time is passing. You've been to Tre Scalini only once in your life. Already you're a grown-up. You could be 70 years old, still sitting at home, waiting for the right person to call, hoping to go to Tre Scalini one more time before you die. Let me take you out. Let's go somewhere. Maybe go on from dinner to a party. Maybe stay up all night, go for a walk on the beach in the early morning. Maybe not. This is how it is to be alive. It's no big deal.
I don't know. Nowadays it seems to me you have to be so brave even to accept a dinner invitation. And to fall in love, that seems like a calamity, even life or death, or at least a swamp. Anyway, I'm not dressed.
I have something for you.
He hands her a red satin slip.
This is a slip.
Everyone's wearing slips these days.
As a dress?
Yes.
To go out?
Sure.
Not in Martha's Vineyard, I don't think.
Of course in Martha's Vineyard. This is where it all started.
I like it.
I thought that it would be good for you. Do you believe in love at first sight?
Yes.
James and Tessa kiss. A long, long kiss.
Do you dance?